final video of 2018. Hi guys, my name is Katie Carson. I'm the Duchess of Suds here at Royalty Soaps, and today we're going to be making Botanical Soul. The thing that makes this soap different from all the other ones that I make is the amount of botanical powders that I add to the base. The specific powders I use today, I was using mainly for exfoliating properties and also because it's just really fun to add them to a bar of soap, but each individual botanical powder does have its own beneficial properties, so I'll leave the names to all the ones that I use today. Feel free to do your own research on that. I am not making any medicinal claims about this soap. All I'm telling you is that this soap is gonna get you clean. And that's actually a legal issue. I'm not gonna go into all that in this video, but if you'd like to know more about making claims when marketing your soap, I will leave you guys some very, very, very helpful articles down below. This is one of the biggest faux pas that I see with soap makers who, I mean, I would love to say beginner soap makers, but I know some really like advanced master soap makers that still continue to make kind of these same mistakes. It's really, really easy thing to avoid. You just don't tell people that your soap does anything but get them clean. I digress. I'll leave you guys links. So without further ado, let's make some soap. So before I add the lye water solution to our oils today, I'm gonna add some botanical powders. The first one I'm adding is dandelion root powder. The next one I'm adding is calendula flowers powder. And finally, we have some chamomile flowers powder. So before adding anything else, I'm gonna blend these powders into our oils and make sure they are fully incorporated. Now that all the botanical powders have been dispersed, we're gonna add our lye water solution. Pour that lye water solution right down the stick blender. The recipe I am using today can be found in the description box below. And now we're gonna blend until light trace. When I made this batch the first time, I added some titanium dioxide to lighten it up. But when I went back to assess the design, I really decided that I'd rather let the botanical powders do all the natural coloring. So there's not gonna be any colorant added whatsoever to this soap. Any color that you see is just the natural color the soap would be without colorant, and also the work of the powders. Now it is time to add the fragrance. This is a blend of chamomile, lavender, and sage, and it's beautiful. This is one of my mom's favorite fragrances that I have mixed up and put together. So now I'm gonna blend that in until it's fully incorporated, and then we're gonna pour into our large slab mold. Alrighty, let's pour. Because it's all one color and there's no swirls, I'm just gonna pour into the middle and let it all kind of spread out to the corners. Now that the soap is in the mold, I'm gonna let it set up until I can texture the top and it will hold its shape. Okay, so instead of dragging a fork across it, I've decided that I'm obsessed with textured tops. So I'm going in with a spoon, and that's what we're gonna do. And having those crevices, no matter how they're made, that really helps grip onto the botanicals. The fragrance is so delightful. It's like filling up my whole studio. And look, it's just, oh, look at that texture. Yes. And again, the end result for this is what we're really happy about. The bars that have a texture like this on top look so unique. It's also just kind of fun to see something that looks so completely flat get messed up. It's like a Zen garden for me. So now that the top is textured, we're gonna start adding the botanicals, and I'm gonna start with the bigger ones first. We have here some organic fair trade rose petals. I'm pretty sure they've been recently dried because the color is still very vibrant. And I remember after I did this soap the first time, a ton of people made it after me and started tagging me on Instagram, and I loved seeing it because then my whole feed was just filled with botanical looking soaps, and it was delightful. And as I'm going along, I'm pulling out any little twigs, any little leaves, just things that wouldn't look very pretty on top of the soap. I'm pulling those out. But just so you know, if you make a soap like this, you will find a lot of those things. Okay. I have already gone through all these to make sure that there aren't any sticks in them. And it feels like no matter how hard you try to pull them all out, you'll end up putting some on anyway. So don't be too hard on yourself or too particular, because it's still gonna happen. Okay, I feel good about this for now. Let's move on to the next flower. Calendula is next. This is organic fair trade calendula. And you will notice I like picking flowers that are very bold. I like the colors to be bright, even when they're dried. And there are some flowers that just kind of lose their vibrancy. I personally think that lavender is one of them. I'm still gonna put a few little lavender buds on top, but I'm not gonna put that many because I think it gets kind of dull. It looks a little bit gray. Those are all the lavender buds I've seen anyway. Maybe there's some out there that are still very potently purple. And if you know about those, I would like to know where to get them. So feel free to tell me down in the comments below. So lavender is the next thing I'm adding, and you can probably see what I mean here. These are kind of dry. They look a little bit gray. They've lost a lot of the vibrancy. So I'd love to be able to find some that are a lot more colorful than that. Just gonna sprinkle those on top. And remember, with lavender buds, you don't really want to tap those in or anything because they can very quickly just turn brown and look kind of gross. So I like to save those till sort of the last bit where the soap isn't as wet and they won't kind of go that direction. Now we're gonna add some organic blue bottle flower buds. They are just as blue as they look on screen. These are kind of expensive, but I think they're worth it because that potency, that vibrancy is just hard to find in botanical, so I'm willing to pay for it. And I am gonna add a few more rose petals on top, just because I feel like it needs it. Okay, now that all of my botanicals are in, I'm gonna take my spatula and I'm very gently going to pat the top of the soap. Not hard at all, and I've already tested to see kind of how tough and how set up the soap underneath is. And it definitely is enough to handle what I'm doing here. This is just gonna help the flowers grip that little bit extra there on top. And we're gonna spritz with rubbing alcohol to seal everything in. And that's it, we're done with Botanical Soul. And this is what the soap looks like up close. I love it. Every time I look at it, I love it. It reminds me, well, of just everything wildflower. Wildflowers and botanicals are so in right now. They're all over Instagram. And so I think this soap, well, it would just drive well with all of those creations. So I'm gonna let this sit for 18 to 24 hours, and then I will come back and we will split the slab into loaves and cut the loaves into bars. After this quick commercial break. And we are back the next day to split the Botanical Soul slab into loaves. It smells divine, and every time I do this, it pulls flowers and it breaks my heart. So let's just get it over with. Does make it so much easier to split these things though with a slab splitter. See, look at all these flowers, and it's almost always just calendula. Okay, let's pull out one of the middle loaves. Of course, the inside is gonna be relatively plain, but gosh, it smells amazing. And I love seeing all the little speckles inside from the botanicals we placed in there. Okay, let's take these loaves on over to Kermit and slice them. Get off of there, you peasant. Peasants everywhere. Anyway, let's take them over to Kermit and slice them all up. And here we go. We'll put our loaf in on its side and we will press down rather forcefully indeed because it is a little hard. Wow. That wasn't even a pring. That was just a like a snap almost. So I'll take one of the middle bars out now. This is what it looks like all cut up. Even with turning a loaf like this on its side, there is almost always going to be a few little drag marks, and that just comes with the territory of botanicals on your soap. It also reminds you to stay humble. And it sort of adds to the whole, you know, handmade, one-of-a-kind feel, in my opinion. Here's a little up close of what the bar looks like on top. So colorful, I love it. This soap is most delightfully dedicated to all of the wanderlusters, all the world travelers, all the free-spirited folk, all the people who love fairies and like to dream big. That is who Botanical Soul is for. For the question of the day, I would like to know, do you consider yourself a romantic or a realist? Y'all guess which one Caleb is. And likewise, guess which one I am. Hey, they say opposites attract, right? To vote on the question of the day, you simply need to click the I in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Thanks you guys so much for watching the final video of 2018. It has been one heck of a year. So many people have joined the royal court. I'm so glad to have you here. We've got amazing things in store for 2019. Per usual, I can't tell you any of them, but I will tell you that 2 of them are going to be released in the first quarter of the year, so they'll be coming sooner rather than later. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe, leave me a comment below, whatever. Also, the soap will be available to purchase on January 8th, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. A lot of people really liked this soap last time, so if you really want to get one, be sure you set your alarm. And until the new year, have an absolutely royal day. Do something fun for yourself today, whether that is prepping for New Year's festivities or getting yourself a fun breakfast because you have to go to work today. Either way, do something that makes you happy, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now. Meow.